Beth, we'll start the recording now. My name is Kate Carpio, and I'm a certified health coach with Take Shape for Life. Just like to welcome you to our weekly meeting of Simply Balance. The goal of these calls is to share information and teach you about creating health in your life. So we're teaching from Living a Longer, Healthier Life, which is the companion guide to Dr. A's Habits of Health. Tonight we are going to be teaching from Lesson 10, which correlates to Chapters 11 and 12 in the Habits of Health book. So as a team, we recognize that everyone learns differently, some from reading books, others by listening, and others through visualization. The goal of these calls is just to provide a fun and easy way to learn and understand the habits of health. I want to mention that you don't need to be here for every call, but these lessons do build on each other. So that being said, we hope you find the 30 minutes that you spend with us tonight valuable, and that you'll come back again next week and invite others to our future calls. So each 30 minutes is set up pretty much the same way. We have just a brief introduction, 15 to 20 minutes of a presentation, and then we try to allow time for questions at the end. The presenters are changed every week, so you never know who you're going to get. So we hope that you come back, just if nothing else, to see who it is. So if you have questions, there is a chat feature. There's a little bubble on the bottom. You can click on there. You can send your questions directly to me, Kate Carpio, or you can put them out to the team, whatever you want to do, and we will try to definitely get them answered for you. Okay, so as I mentioned, tonight's lesson is Lesson 10, which is actually called Eating Healthy for Life. Your presenter tonight is Mary Beth Enslin, and she is a certified health coach. Take it away, Beth.
All right. Thanks, Kate. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. So I'm really excited about tonight's topic. So, what the basic part is, we get really excited about reaching that healthy weight, but that's really just the beginning. So what's important is those next steps, because we want to make sure that you're able to maintain that healthy weight. So that's the real exciting part. So let me just ask, how many people on the call are excited about maybe losing the weight, but even more nervous about what's going to happen after they get there? Because that's what I think a lot of times that's what happens. People get like, now what? But, you start to think, how's this going to be different from all those other times that I've done a program and, I've lost weight, but it didn't work. I ended up gaining it all back. So, but don't worry, take a deep breath, because this time it's going to be different. Because there's a few things that we have that are different, and one is that you have a health coach. So your health coach is going to be with you and guide you through this whole process. And then there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to teach you, and one of them is what we call, it's an acronym that says Be Slim, and basically that is going to really help you in making sure that you maintain your weight. So Be Slim actually stands for, the B is for breakfast. So it's really important. And one of the things that you'll learn throughout the program is that breakfast is important. You need to have it every day. You need to break the fast that your body has, not had anything to eat for so long, and it really jumpstarts your metabolism. You're going to need to exercise. E is for exercise. Doesn't have to be a formal exercise program, but one of the things, again, that you're going to learn is, and especially next week, is how when you start to put those muscles into motion, it really makes a difference. That's going to be key, increasing your activity level at some point to helping you maintain the weight loss that you have. Support is the S. Support's really important. It's that sense of community, and you may feel this in a lot of different ways. Whether it's through friends, whether it's through family, whether it's the Facebook community group, there's lots of different things that we do. These types of calls. So it's making sure that you have that support built in around you. The L is for low-fat meals every 3 hours, right? So that's kind of, it's following that same eating pattern that we're doing now. You're having low glycemic meals, you're controlling your calories, and you're not having a lot of fat in all of your meals. The I is for an individual plan. And to tell you the truth, that's really what we're going to focus on a lot tonight. So we'll get into that. But then the M is to monitor. Monitoring is key. You really need to keep track of where you are and just monitor yourself every day so that you don't spiral out of control and be like, what's the use now? You want to keep that in a close range. So I have to say, I really love this lesson because this refers to one of the chapters, chapter 11 in the Habits of Health book, as Kate had mentioned. And it really talks about the science of healthy eating and weight loss. So for me, this is where it makes all the sense, right? Because it makes it, it's all, when it's built in science, it's fact. And that's gives me comfort in knowing that, hey, I can do this. It might be a little bit hard sometimes, but this is how it works. So there's, to make it really simple for you, there's 3 core principles that are essential to reaching and then maintaining your healthy weight. They're not going to sound foreign to you, but here it is really simple. 1, fuel control. So basically that's managing your calories and the insulin that gets released when you eat something. The second is hunger control. So that's satiety, that the science of fullness. Because if you go around feeling hungry all the time, you're going to want to eat. Like, that's not a good thing. So in order to get to your healthy weight and then stay there, you need to make sure that your body feels full so that you don't feel that you're starving. And then the third piece is the waist control. So that's removing all that excess visceral adiposity or fat that we have around our center. And that's really important. And we've talked about it in other lessons, and we're going to start talking about that more and more, about the whole metabolic syndrome, where people tend to, as we get older, we gain weight right around the middle. Some people more than others, but it happens to everybody. And that's what can predispose you. That is just your waist circumference is just one of 5 other things total that will put you at a higher risk for a lot of diseases. So there are the 3 things that we really need to think about: fuel, hunger, and waist control. Okay. So what I had said earlier was that part of that Be Slim, that I was for the individual plan, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So people who've been on the program have a coach, right? And your health coach is there to guide and support you. So a lot of times when people have tried other programs or other diets, they usually fail because people are not taught about energy balance, right? So there's this energy balance that you have to have, and there's also motivation. So that's really important too. But let's talk about the energy balance first. So trying to put the science into this to try to help people understand it. Fat cells in your body use energy. When you lose weight, you decrease your metabolic demands, and the amount of energy in your fat cells that you use, that decreases dramatically as well. So if you simply go back to your old pre-diet eating habits, as what happens a lot of times, like people lose the weight and then they're like, I can have everything again. What happens is your new lighter body doesn't know what to do. So it doesn't use that energy effectively. And then, so what happens is you kind of like balloon, like you don't just gain a pound or 2 back, but if you go right back to your old eating habits, you might automatically gain 10 pounds. And then you kind of go down that spiral sometimes. So that's how it starts to be this classic yo-yo pattern where you do everything you can, you lose it, you go back to your old patterns, and you go up much quicker and a little bit higher each time. So that's the one piece of it that we're going to really talk about, is that energy piece. But since I mentioned it, I think we just need to, I would just want to touch on that more complicated part, that motivation. So a lot of times, like when you're losing weight, you're motivated, right? I mean, how great is that? You're on the call, right? Because you want to do that, and you're really motivated. The problem is that sometimes when people are on the program just to lose pounds, when they reach their goal, they have felt so deprived because they're using that diet mentality. So that's part of that problem. And that's why people go back to that old way of living. And that's where this program that a lot of us are on, the Take Shape for Life, is different, because reaching your healthy weight is just the first step. It's just the step to put you on that path. So the that underlying part of that motivation that we have should really be about our fundamental choice. And we've talked about that a few weeks ago, where the fundamental choice is that's like, okay, this is what I want to do. And then everything that you do is based on that. So if the fundamental choice that you have is about creating optimal health, then that's just this first step. And now we're just continuing on that pattern. So tonight's lesson is what we're really going to focus more on, like I had said, about those energy requirements and how to maintain that weight. So what I want to do is start off by talking about something called TEE, or it's called the total energy expenditure. So basically, this is do you ever hear about like energy in, energy out? This is the energy out part. So it's kind of what you're doing to burn off the calories. And it's based on three things. Basal metabolic rate, so your otherwise known as your BMR, your physical activity level, otherwise known as PAL, and your thermic effect of food that you eat, or TEF. So those three things are how we look at energy out. So how do you calculate that? What does all that mean? Well, there's two ways to do it. There's an easy way and there's a complicated way. Look, if anybody wants to do the complicated way, I know that there's some accountants on the line. And if you guys, those accountants, want to do the hard way, listen, we can call Kate afterwards and she can take us to it, or we can call, there's other people, Lisa. We can get all those accountants working for us. No, it really is easy, and I know. But it's a lot of formulas and stuff like that. So you know what? I think that most people just want to say, hey, in today's society with, all the digital stuff that we have, let's just show the easy way to do it. So I'm going to show you how to do it the easy way. And this is actually done by looking at where you are now, like your goal weight, I should say. So if you're at your goal weight, we're going to look at your height and your weight, your age, your gender, and activity level. Now, what I'm going to do is bear with me for 1 minute while I, because of course I did not have this up ahead of time. I'm going to share my screen in 1 second. Okay, so share my screen. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Yep. Okay. So this is for people who are on the program. This is one of our, where people go to order food. Okay. Anybody can get to these types of screens. What I want to show you is if you go under our programs, right? This just lights up as purple when you click on it. I'm going to click on the optimal 3 and 3 plan, because the 3 and 3 plan is what a lot of times we use for when someone transitions off and goes into more of that maintenance, if you will, for lack of another term, but like kind of like a life type of thing. This is an option. So if I click on that and I scroll down the page, wait, did I click on it? It might not have clicked. Hold on. Sorry, don't mean to make anybody dizzy, so close your eyes if I am. Okay. So this, let me increase it. Okay. So this is how you calculate your total energy expenditure. So there's a calculator here that we can use, and I'm just going to scroll down. I use it all the time. Meal plans. All right, where? Oh, there. Sorry, didn't go down that far the first time. Okay, so so I can't see you guys, just so you know. So if anybody has a question, you guys take yourself off of mute and ask me. So what I'm going to do is I'll just use myself as an example here. Okay, so this is the TEE calculator. So I'm going to click on female. I'm just going to put in a weight of 145. I'll put in 5'6", and yep, everybody knows I just turned 50. Okay, so now that's just the basics. Okay, so this is either my weight now, my goal weight, so I can put whatever I want to put in here. But the thought is, when you're doing it, it's kind of, that's where where the bases are. What do I need to do to maintain this weight where I am right now? Okay. So one of the big factors is what's your activity level. So most people know that I had to have foot surgery done about 2.5 months ago. But unfortunately, I still have to consider myself sedentary because I really can't do much. I can't do any type of light exercise 1 to 3 days a week. My 10-minute exercise at physical therapy on the bicycle does not count. So I can click on sedentary and then click on calculate. Look at this. This tells me that in order for me to maintain a weight of 145 pounds, I need to eat 1,555 calories a day. Okay? But look at this. This is what's really cool. What my previous activity level was, I was at least moderately active. I was doing going to the gym at least 3 to 5 days a week. Okay, so if I click it to moderately active, calculate my TE, look at that. My calories go up to 2,000 calories a day. So a little exercise does you good. So that is just something that I really wanted to show you, because I think that that's really, it's just such an awesome thing. And since we're on this page, what that equates to is, okay, if I'm on a 2,000 calorie plan, I can click on this plan over here, and it pretty much gives me some instructions on how I need to structure my eating plan. Okay, so I'll get back to my screen. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, so great. You can see me again. Perfect. Okay, so the biggest thing is that people ask, so that's like, okay, I've reached my goal. This is where I am. Now, I know how many calories I'm going to have, but the big question is, okay, how do I get to add all those foods back in? And that's what I would just want to spend a few minutes talking about. So this whole part of transitioning is for people who are on the program. So there's people who are using our fuelings, and then once you've reached that healthy weight, you want to start adding all the full range of food groups back into your diet. And that's just, the food that you eat every day. So you're using the fuelings, but you're also already preparing a healthy, lean, and green. That's something that you've been accustomed to, and that is going to be key in helping you transition. So what we're going to do is we're going to introduce foods in a logical order that allows your GI tract to become more accustomed to that food again. So for those who are doing the 5-in-1 plan, and that most people are, and there's some people who do other plans, 4-in-2, 3-in-3, okay, but most people start off on the 5-in-1, so that's what we're going to talk about. So this guide, the Quick Start Guide that comes with a lot of people's programs, if some people who might have started recently, who are on the Optavia, have the Optavia guide instead, which is a great booklet because just the way that the whole thing is set up. This part is not included. I think you can order one of these. They're $1. Okay, so ask your coach if you need one. What I really like about them is it goes through the whole transition, the way that we do that. So when you reach your healthy weight, what we do is that first week you get to add back in 2 servings of those vegetables that we asked you not to eat during the program. They're the ones that are a little bit higher in carbohydrates. So they're the carrots, the Brussels sprouts, the edamame, the baked potato, things like that. So 2 servings a day. And that's in addition to what you were already eating. The next week, the second week that you're going through transition, you're actually going to go down to 4 of the healthy fuelings, the supplements, but you're going to add, not only are you going to add those vegetables back in, you're also going to add in 2 pieces of small fruit. So, okay. Then that third week, you are going to take away another meal replacement and add yogurt or like a low-fat milk. And then the fourth week, you're going to add in whole grains, or they're the carbs, the healthy carbs that you're going to add back in. And you're also going to add a little bit more protein in. So you're going to work your way down in the fuelings, and you're going to increase your calories as you need to. So the goal at the end, listen, you're still going to eat 6 times a day. That does not change. Think of it like this: breakfast, lunch, and dinner, mid-morning, mid-afternoon, and after dinner, fueling, snack, however you want to use it. So you still want to have that type of a look at things. So last week, Donna talked about how to help people get to a healthy weight, how to use that 9-inch plate, how to, and use a lot of the foods that we looked at. So she told us that we had to have half of our plate with fruits and vegetables, right? So that's a good thing. And she also talked a little bit about the foods that we should use foods that are low in the glycemic index, and how much healthier they are for us. So just let me touch on that for a few minutes. And I am aware of the time that we're kind of running down already. So there's 3 macronutrients that our body uses for fuel, and they're protein, carbs, and fats. So food as an energy source is stored in our fat cells. So when you eat a high glycemic meal, those cells respond by turning on the insulin and stimulating this whole ramp up of storage into fat. When you eat a low glycemic meal, it shuts down that fat storage. So that's why it's really important to be aware of which foods have high glycemic index and which don't. And there is a great chapter in the book, I think it's chapter 9 in the Habits of Health book, that really kind of goes through and points out, hey, these kinds of foods are high on that index, these foods are low on the index. Eat the ones that are low in that index. Because one of the things that we talked about before is when we eat carbohydrates, your blood sugar rises, and then your body secretes insulin. And when your insulin levels are low, say when you get up in the morning, your insulin levels are low. So your body burns mainly fat. So if you're having healthy, low glycemic breakfast, that helps you keep yourself in that fat burning state. And it also helps when you start off doing a little bit of early morning activity. So your body can use those carbohydrates right away instead of storing them. So when your insulin levels are high, after you eat a meal that has a lot of high carbohydrates, your body tries to burn mainly carbohydrates, but it also ends up storing a lot of them as fat. So we need to choose the foods that are in a lower glycemic range. Because prolonged high levels of insulin in our body, that leads to diabetes as well as a lot of other complications. So one last thing I just wanted to touch on quickly is the chapter talks a lot about energy density. So this whole concept of energy density is about that whole, the piece on satiety. So it's about feeling full quicker and feeling full longer. So if you want to eat foods and feel quick and feel full, then you want to eat foods that have a lower density. There are foods that contain a lot of water in them, and you can eat a lot of them. So fruits and vegetables are great examples of that. So because in addition to the high water content, they also have a lot of nutrients, and that also helps to give you that sense of fullness. So I just want to, if I may, share something else with you. Where'd you guys go? There you go. Okay, can you see my screen again? Okay, so this is just a picture, and it's actually a picture from the book, so pardon the the curve of that there. But it's just to show, like, these are foods that have the lowest energy density. So fruits and vegetables, skim milk, some broth-based soups. So they're things you can have a high volume of, and that'll help you feel fuller. There's also, I mean, things here in the low energy density. These ones that are in the high energy density, I mean, just take a look at them and you can see already. Crackers, chips, chocolate candy, cookies, nuts. So there are things that, you know, you want to kind of stay away from. That's why they have the smallest piece of the pie there, because you can't have too many of them. Okay, because it really just completely impacts your body. So these are the things that you want to have, mostly those fruits and vegetables. Okay, so I think I'm going to just stop there because I do recognize the time. So does anyone have any questions that I can try to help answer in the last few minutes?
Hey, thanks, Beth. Awesome information. Of course, I always have a comment. So, you know, for the Be Slim, you know, the B being breakfast and E for exercise, I was surprised that the L is for low fat versus low calorie. I'm just making a comment. I didn't know if I was just surprised.
Yeah, you know what? But I think it is low calorie, but it really is low fat as well. I think sometimes that we have to be careful about the choices that we have. People are very aware that you have to, you know, calories in, calories out. But a lot of times people aren't as attuned to what the fat content is of specific items. So it's a reminder that you need to look at that food label.
Okay, good. And I did crack up. I did throw out in the chat room that you are a nurse, because you said something for waist control that was like adversarial apostrophe.
Visceral adiposity. Sorry.
All right. Visceral adiposity.
Fat accumulation around your organs.
Around your belly.
That's right.
And it's like anybody who can say those two words gets a dime. Anyway, all right. So now that I said my 2 cents, we don't have time to talk. We don't have time for a question. Apologize. But anyway, that was fantastic information. So thanks for teaching that. We all know that none of us want to regain the weight back, and it's very important that you know, once you get to where you want to be, or if you are where you want to be, you just continue to work with your coach. If you don't have a coach, or whoever invited you to this call tonight, it's just a matter of, these are lessons for life that we will always have. And it is chapter 9 for the glycemic index. I did check that. So how about that? 30 minutes. Lesson 10 is done. Fantastic. Woohoo! So we hope you enjoyed tonight's call, the presentation, and learned some great information. Thanks so much to Beth for teaching us. Next week, we are going to be learning lesson 11, which is habits of active living. And that corresponds to chapters 13, 14, and 15. Should you choose to read ahead, you don't have to. There is no homework assigned. We will certainly teach it all to you in 30 minutes next Monday. So be sure to invite your family, friends, and everyone you think might enjoy and benefit from learning the habits of health. Stay simply balanced. Remember, healthy choices, healthy you. You can stop the recording. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.